Hello and welcome. In today's exciting episode, I make a dress out of these fabrics and it turns out adorably.
It's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect jacket.
So I recently made the rainbow layer cake dress. It's just two different fabrics, 4 yards or 5 yards, and including the lining and the back of the dress. And but I don't often wear white, and this is mainly a white dress. So I thought, well, let's make another one. And also, I kind of want to see what it looks like with a bigger skirt bottom. So I'm going to use 6 yards instead of 4 yards. So that's basically three different fabrics instead of two different fabrics. And I was thinking about just doing three solid colours. But I don't know, that's a bit aggressively fashionista. So I thought maybe two colours and a print. And but I've don't have that many shortcuts of prints left. I've kind of used a lot of them. So I got out a couple. There's the rose one. I've got more than 2 yards of that, but I can spare 2 yards. And pink and a dark red, they would look good together. But then I have these. This is a Sally Kelly print. It's sort of vintage inspired. And these two purples, I got them, I don't know why I got them. They just look very vintage to me. So I thought, so these are the type of dresses I was thinking about replicating, sort of lots of different layers. And and using 6 yards. So the skirt is really nice and full because I love a full skirt. So, So I thought, I'm just admiring those sleeves again. I love those triple decker sleeves. So anyway, I did decide to go with these fabrics, as you probably guessed from the thumbnail. And I think they just look a little bit vintage and a bit unusual and unexpected. And that's the kind of thing I'm more comfortable wearing. So what I did was I cut them into 2 yard cuts because some of them were a bit longer. And then I divided them in. So I've got a tier that's 2 yards wide, a tier that's 4 yards wide, and a tier that's 8 yards wide. And these are the spare bits that I'm going to use to make the bodice and the sleeves. So first thing I have to do is the skirt, because the skirt takes by far the longest. So I also had some leftover bits. I'm going to use the light purple for the back of the bodice and the lining, and the dark purple, I still haven't decided if I'm going to make another tier. So yeah, this is me just putting them all in line and just seeing what they look like. Because I was going to do light purple, print dark purple, but then I was like, I've got an extra 2 yards of the dark purple, so I can make a 16-yard tier right for the bottom of the skirt if I want. I've just kept it aside for the moment. Anyway, this is me starting to sew everything together. So first of all, you have to sew the 3 bits from the top panel together, and then the 3 bits from the second panel together. Once they're done, you pin them together, then pleat it down, which I've done. Next, I had to sew the bottom tier on, and so I sewed them together first. Oh my God, it took forever. This thing is 8 yards long. It is so big. And then I sewed it so it was a big loop. And then I pinned it to the other 2 bits and then just sewed it. And this is the skirt as it is at the moment. So it's only got 3 tiers. I do still have that other fabric, so I can make another tier at the bottom, but for now I'll leave it as it is and I'll try this, and then if I think it's not long enough I'll add more. Time to make the bodice. So I sewed those 3 bits together and I sort of did the reverse. So from the waist down it goes dark print light, and then from the waist up it goes dark print light, but the opposite way, if you get what I mean. So yeah, so then after I'd done the bodice, I did the sleeves, and I was just trying to use up all the little bits. And then once the front bodice and the sleeves were done, I did the back bodice and the lining out of just plain pale lilac colour. And once that was done, I sewed the bodice and lining together, did the neckline, turned them in the right way, and then I sewed the sleeves on. Oh, I love these sleeves so much. And once the bodice with the sleeves were done, it was time to sew the skirt on. So I just pinned it, then I pleated it down. Took ages because there's just so much fabric in this. It is ridiculous, but it is also adorable. And then, yeah, it's done. Ta-da! It's so cute. I still have to do the hand stitching. But yeah, so a lot of you asked to see the dress without a tie. So here it is from the front. And then I'm going to show you the side and the back. And on the left, you can see the green, the white one with the rainbow print. As I said, that's 4 yards. And this one that I just made is 6 yards of fabric. And it makes such a difference. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I think you could even go more, 7 or 8 yards, and do wider tiers at the bottom. That will be so fabulous. But as it is, so here it is with the tie, it just looks so cute this way. And oh my gosh, I love these sleeves so much. They're so nice, and I love a short puffy sleeve. I mean, I like a long puffy sleeve, and don't get me wrong, I've got dozens of dresses with long puffy sleeves. But the short ones for summer, even for winter, you just wear a long sleeve t-shirt underneath. It's adorable. So yeah, this is the side and this is the back, and they look so good together. Like when I got the 3 fabrics out and put them together, I was like, oh, I think these will look really good together, but I didn't really trust it, and should have trusted it. These look adorable. So yeah, there we go. That is the dress. And oh my gosh, sewing the skirts together took an absolute age. If you want to make a dress like this, I would recommend every night just doing half an hour or an hour sewing all the skirt panels together. And then on the weekend, all you have to do is make the bodice, the sleeves, and sew the skirt to the bodice. And then you've got your dress. So yeah, I think it'd be much more manageable if, like on Sunday afternoon, you chose what fabrics you were going to do and tore them up and arranged them correctly. And then during the week, you just sort of did the whole sewing all the panels together, because that is the bit that takes forever. I went through so many bobbins, you would not believe. And I made the mistake of starting with the widest tier, so the one that is 8 yards big. So yeah, if I was doing one of these skirts for the first time, I think I would start with the smallest, then like do the 2 yard tier, then the 4 yard tier, and maybe even make them into a skirt. Because once you've got something real and tangible, like it's a little part of the actual dress that's finished. And yeah, you just hang it on, you pin it to your mannequin, and you're like, yay, it's actually going to happen. And then you've got the massive, massive tier to do. Obviously, I mean, this rainbow dress that I made recently is only made out of 4 yards. So the skirt is in 2 sections. The first tier is 2 yards wide, and the bottom tier, that loop of fabric, is 4 yards wide. So that's actually it's still loads of layers to sew together, but it took a lot less time, all the sewing, pre-construction, I guess you would call it. So yeah, I guess you have to think before you sort of embark on a layer cake dress. I guess you have to decide how much time you have and, well, really how much fabric, because the costs do mount up. If you're deciding between 2 yards, 4 yards, 8 yards, or 6 yards, there's a massive difference in how much that's going to cost, or how much of your fabric stash you're willing to use up. This year I'm trying to use up all my fabric stash, and yeah, so I can get back to concentrating on just jackets. And also I've got a wardrobe to fill, so that's my priority for this year. But otherwise, I don't know. I mean, I am having great fun making all these layer cake dresses. I love them, and they are something that I would wear a lot. But yeah, I did start out making just plain dresses and then gradually got more and more complicated. I do get a lot of people saying, oh, that's your most complex one. I'm going to make that tomorrow. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, you could definitely try. But this is how I started. And it's like, would you just run the Boston Marathon if you decided you wanted to go for a jog, or would you start by jogging? So each their own. I mean, you only have one life, go for it. But I would point out that your sewing machines are very grumpy little creatures. If you haven't used your sewing machine in a long time, then you do have to get it used to working again. Just use it for short periods, and then you can gradually increase the amount of time you spend on it. Otherwise it will seize and you'll have to put it in the shop and you'll lose your enthusiasm for sewing. So yeah, so in if it's a situation like that, then I would recommend against a layer cake dress, just because you have to do so much sewing. There's like French seams for days, and yeah. So, but apart from that, I highly recommend making a dress like this. They are so much fun and adorable to wear as well. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you've been inspired to make a layer cake dress of your very own. See ya.